Hola a todos, and thank you for tuning into LearnCast. I'm Serena, and today we'll be coming to review past tense, specifically preterite and imperfect, the tenses you will need the most as you continue to describe yourself in your Spanish classes. Preterite being the most prominent criteria looked for if you're continuing to IB4, where they look for depth and ability to describe events in the past. Now, preterite is used to describe a single event that took place. So, comí, an accent on the I, helado cuando fui al supermercado. I ate ice cream when I went to the supermarket. So from comer, it would turn into comí. You drop the ER and you add an I with an accent. Comer to comí. And with the ER verbs, when you say you ate ice cream, it would be comiste helado. He or she ate ice cream. It would be comió helado. And the IO suffix, mind you, has an accent on the O when written. We ate would be comimos, and they ate would be comieron. All of these happened one time, and you ate that specific food. You ate that ice cream, so that happened only once. Now, with an AR ending verb, like comprar to compré, with an accent on the E. So comprar to compré. And you would drop the AR, and then tack on the accented E. However, you want to be aware of the Kargarzar Rule, okay? The Kargarzar Rule, when the infinitive suffix is one of those, kar, gar, or zar, C-A-R, G-A-R, Z-A-R, okay? These are solely for the first person singular, but with the Kargarzar, you have to be careful. You may think, oh, because all of these end with an AR, I can just drop the AR and tack on the accented E. But with the kar goes to que, Q-U-E, kar goes to que, like buscar goes to busque, to find, and I found. And because you found it, it would have only happened once. So buscar to busque, gar to que, like llegar and llegué. So for example, llegué tarde a la fiesta. There was only one party, and that was the one you relate to, which makes it a preterite. Now, we also have zar to se. So the se would be a CE, so it'd be empezar and empecé. Okay? So the zar to the se, and it would be like to start, and I started, okay? So for example, empecé mi propio empresa papel would be I started my own paper company, right? That would be a one-time event. You started it. And of course, there are irregular verbs that you'll have to watch out for the different stems. Charts, having a chart written out and reviewing it regularly would be a good remembrance because you can't use charts while you're taking the test, so be careful of that. With imperfect now, it's a little easier because it describes things that happened a lot in the past, like habits or childhood behaviors, things that happened more than once. Imperfect is also used for describing the temperature of a specific day, when you're hungry, or some weather, because that was a sustained feeling, and even if you were describing it on a specific day. So you would be like, the weather that day was really nice, so el tiempo era muy bonita. So era would be a sustained thing that happened, right? And that would means actions which are not physical, that is like feelings and actions, usually use the imperfect tense. Actions that aren't physical or weather or feelings are usually the imperfect tense, okay guys? Now, AR goes to aba, and the ER-IR verbs go to ia. So for example, hablaba con mis juguetes muchos. Ellos incluso tenían historias como familias. I used to talk to my toys. And they even had backstories. So they had backstories. That's a holding onto something, right? And because I would talk to them regularly, and they even had family, like they would continue to have their stories for a long time. It would be tenían, okay? So the normal, like if you do a present tense, it would be ends with like an O, N, or like if it would be they, it would be like they would be end with an N, and like if it would be like a we, it would end with a mos. So that applies here also. Now, imperfect doesn't have a defined beginning, but it definitely has a defined end, which is what makes it a form of past tense. Thank you for joining me on our review of Preterit and Imperfect, where we learned that Preterit is what? A specific event that happened, and imperfect was something that happened more than once or was a sustained event. Be sure to follow us on Spotify, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check our website to stay up to date with the latest releases. All of these have the same name of LearnCast. Until next time, listen, learn, repeat.